Hey, what's up everybody, Zed here, back again with another video, and today we'll be doing my first top 5 on this YouTube channel. If you guys would like to see more top 5s, be sure to smash that subscribe button, tell me in the comment section down below, and like this video. So let's just get started with the first top 5 of June 2015. This here is the top 5 processors on a budget. So if you're in the market for some budget CPUs for a gaming build or a video editing machine or a home theater build, then here it is, 5 CPUs that should do it for you good between pricing of $60 through $120. So let's jump right into it with the first processor at number 5. What I went ahead and chose is the Pentium G3258. A dual-core processor on the LGA 1150 socket. It is a Haswell processor with 2 threads coming in at a operating frequency of 3.2 GHz. Comes in with 3 megs of level 3 cache and 2 cores, level 2 cache of 256 kilobytes per core, so that's 512 kilobytes total. It takes in around 53 watts of power, so it's a very low powered CPU at around $70. It's on the Haswell chipset, so it's a fairly new processor. It's dual core at 3.2 gigahertz and is a very low voltage. It is only dual core and it is only clocked at 3.2 gigahertz, so it's kind of on the lower end of this list, but it is one of the cheapest processors currently on the market. It's very good for gaming, even though it's only dual core, and it's very good for video editing as it is a very fast processor. People were able to overclock it and it shouldn't have too much problems with really anything. It is fully unlocked and it has quick sync video. So jumping on to number 4, we have the AMD A10 7700K, an AMD A-series APU on the Kaveri chipset, I believe, or it's Kaveri Corning. It's got 10 total compute cores with 4 CPU cores, meaning it's a quad-core CPU, and 6 GPU cores for the GPU. It is a A-series APU, meaning that is a combination of a CPU and a GPU, so it has integrated graphics, the AMD Radeon R7. You can also use dual graphics with another Radeon R7 250 to have some sort of Crossfire X type of setup. It is clocked in at 3.4 gigahertz with a turbo up to 3.8 gigahertz. It's a 95 watt power supply with 4 megs of level 2 cache. It is a little bit down on the cache side, but that's fine. It makes up for that with turbo. These are very well-known CPUs to be good with overclocking, and it does support a very nice APU. It comes in at around $120. But since it's a combination of an APU and a CPU, you really don't have to worry about getting a GPU, or you can have a Crossfire X setup if you would like to do so, and you would have even better GPU performance at a very low budget. It's also a very nice CPU for home theater setups because it has its own integrated GPU, which is much better than a standard GPU that is already going to be integrated into like a motherboard, or for a Pentium or an Intel Core i3 will have some sort of only like a 4400 or 5500 rather than a much better R7 GPU. So moving down to number 3, we have the Intel Core i3 4160, a Haswell dual-core 3.6 GHz processor on the LGA 1150 socket. Much like the Pentium 4, it's Haswell. It's a dual-core processor. However, it is hyper-threaded, meaning it's seen as a 4-core quad-core CPU. So it's only dual-core but has 4 threads. It clocks in at 3.6 gigahertz with 3 megs of level 3 cache, and it has virtualization technology support, yes, and it's Intel HD graphics 4400 with 54 watts of total power usage. It's a very low voltage CPU and it has some decent cache, and it is dual core with a very high clock frequency at 3.6 gigahertz with 4 threads. So it is a very nice CPU for gaming and especially for video editing. with integrated graphics. Comes in at around $120. Moving down to the number 2 spot, I have chose the FX 6300, a Vishera CPU, a Vishera hexa-core CPU clocked in at 3.5 GHz with the 4.1 GHz turbo. Has 8 megs of level 3 cache and 6 megs of level 2 cache, 2 megs per core. That is a lot of cache, and the more cache you have, the more better your performance, because then there's more instructions can be stored onto the CPU rather than having to grab it from the RAM and hard drive. There is no hyper-threading support, and it comes in at around 95 watts, so it is a much more power-hungry processor, but it makes up for that with the cache and having 3.5 GHz and being a hexa-core CPU. It is on the AM3 Plus socket. It's a very nice processor. It's been used in so many really nice gaming builds, and a lot of people recommend it for any sort of budget computer, as it is very nice for video editing and for gaming. It comes in at around $100. You can probably even get it cheaper if you look around on eBay and possibly Craigslist. Moving down to the number 1 spot, we have the AMD Athlon X4 860K. I chose this CPU over the AMD FX 6300 because of a few reasons. For one, it is a much cheaper processor, coming in at only around $70 rather than $100, and it is on the FM2 Plus socket. It's still quad core with 3.7 GHz frequency, higher than the 3.5 GHz FX 6300. It has a max turbo of 4 GHz and 4 megs of level 2 cache, 2 megs per core. It's also based on a 28 nanometer chipset rather than 32 nanometer chipset on for the FX 6300. It also requires 95 watts. It is a very powerful CPU at only around $70. A lot of people recommend it. It's on the FM2 Plus socket, if I haven't said that already. It's quad core. It is very highly overclockable and is really nice CPU, and it's very recommendable. There's also a black edition at Newegg for $75 if that's your thing. So those are the top 5. Number 5 being Intel Pentium G3258. Number 4 being the A10 7700K. Number 3 being the Intel Core i3 4160. Number 2 being the FX 6300, and number 1 being the AMD Athlon X60K. All prices range from $60 to $120. Prices may vary depending on when and where you buy. Also, this is for June 2015, and yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys did, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, comment down below what other videos you would like to see me do, and yeah, hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.